Hey folks, Robin Robbins here, founder of TMT and MSP Success Magazine. I'm here today with another titan of our industry. We've got Doug Childress, who is the global CEO of Turnium Technology Group, as well as Clarity MSP. Kind of very interested in today's interview because he's got a unique business model I was told that everybody really needs to hear about. So thanks for being here with us today, Doug. And maybe if you could just start out, tell us what Turnium is, tell us what Clarity is, and sort of your role. So you just kind of set the table for us.
Fantastic. Robin, it's a pleasure to be here today, and I look forward to speaking to you and your audience. Turnium. So Turnium Technology Group Incorporated, based in Vancouver, publicly listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange on the venture as TTGI. I started talking to them a couple of years ago. Turnium write their own SD-WAN software, software-defined wide area network software. What got me so interested in talking to them is their software was white labeled. So they could write the software, give it to a partner could brand it, and then they could sell it to the end customer. And I was like, well, hang on just a minute. I've built a technology as a service platform offer, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. And I'm looking for partners. So worldwide, what I got overnight was I got access to 70 worldwide channel partners in multiple countries around the world. So the business that I had started, which is my fifth tech company, and I've been in the industry now 40 years. I've been a CEO for over 32. So I've earned my stripes, so to speak. I sold my last tech company in 2013 and retired and got out of the industry, bought a little boutique resort, and I thought I've had enough of technology. 51 years of age, 2 months in, I've hit all the golf balls I could hit. And finally I said, wait a minute, there's an opportunity here. And it came to me one day when I flicked the lights on in my office. Literally, I stopped and I thought, it would be nice if we could make technology this simple. Why don't we make technology a utility, kind of like electricity, water, and gas? Everybody thinks technology is so complicated, and it is, right? There's so many moving parts in technology. There's not one company out there that you could just go to and say, hey, can you do everything? Can you just do the heavy lifting for us and give us the products to sell, and we'll go talk to the end customer? And it dawned on me that if I could make a B2B, so business to business, we sell to partners, partners takes our product, puts their brand on it, and they go sell it to the end customer. You're a partner, you've been selling, let's just say, PCs and servers. You haven't gotten into cybersecurity yet because you don't have the techs, the skills, the expertise, whatever. You sign up with Clarity. Clarity then gives you that ability to go sell that product, and immediately you generate new revenue streams. You build a deeper, richer relationship with the end customer. So this whole idea of Clarity really started taking off in 2017. Well, Turnium had been out there since 2012, writing their own SD-WAN software, got a development team over in Halifax, Nova Scotia, wonderful team of guys and ladies. And we started talking about this, and I was like, well, you know, we're generating $220 a month SaaS revenue, 75% gross margin, which is unheard of if you're a VAR, because in VAR world, you're generating anywhere from 10 to 15% gross margin. And I'll tell you in a minute how we do it. Turnium, though, on their side, they've got these 70 worldwide channel partners buying a $30 a month SaaS revenue product, generating 86% gross margin. And I said to the guys, why don't we put them together? The deal was so attractive to me. I had 31 other shareholders, and I went to those shareholders and I said, we can do a deal with Turnium. We're going to do it on all shares. And they looked at me around a table and they said, why would we do that? And I said, because we have a technology as a service offering that sells through partners. They've got 70 worldwide partners. It was a light bulb moment for them. They voted unanimously to back me into the deal. Now, when I did it, I said to Turnium, I will only take the deal all shares if I'm in the chair, the global CEO, which is the role I hold today. I've been a CEO of 5 companies. Last one, very successful, sold it to an ASX, Australian Stock Exchange listed public company for 20 times the multiple. Unheard of. But we did so because the value that we built into the product that we brought to the market. So I understand scale, and I understand how to build scalable platforms that deliver enormous value, not just to the partner, but to the shareholders of the business. So in August last year, I became the global CEO. I took over all the worldwide operations. We actually have 4 divisions. I now have all the management team reporting to me. And we went from a Q1 result of $1 and some odd million EBITDA loss to Q2, $100,000 profitable. Our revenue's growing at over 20% quarter on quarter, and we're getting stronger every single day. And the reason we're getting stronger is because the partners that buy from us can see the value that they can unlock immediately by simply signing up and selling. They don't have to hire anybody. They don't have to invest any capital. They don't have to go through any rigorous training, because we do the heavy lifting for them as them to make them look better in front of the end customer. I know that was a big, long elevator pitch. I'll pause there for a minute, Robin, and give you a chance.
Okay, so is the brand going to be Clarity, or is it going to be Turnium? Like, or are you going to continue to keep them separate?
You know, it's amazing you asked me this question today. I had a 2.5-hour marketing meeting this morning. It's 10 o'clock at night for me. And we're talking about just this. You know, building brand equity is a real major thing for publicly listed companies. It's not we'll do it in a month. We'll do it in the next 3 to 5 years. It's a very serious thing that has a very tangible outcome. And oftentimes you look at yourself and you go, are we a branded house? And I'll use a very big, well-known name, Virgin. It's an airline. And every time you hear Virgin, you kind of look for the next word, but that's their brand. But then you look at someone like Procter and Gamble. They're going to have multiple divisions and multiple brand names that are a part of a branded house. It's a tough thing for us to look at, and I've been in the chair now for 7 months, and this is now on my radar, because when we do videos like this, are we talking Turnium? We talking Turnium Technology Group Incorporated, which is the head public listed company. And I'll tell you at the end, how do you get more information on us? We're going to morph into TTGI, is where I see us landing. And that'll be the engine. And the pistons will be the divisions such as Turnium SD-WAN, such as Clarity, the MSP business. And I can't talk enough about the need for MSPs that might be in your listener audience to think about 3, 4, 5 years down the track, and what is your brand going to really represent? And what's going to happen if you grow and expand? We'll talk hopefully we can talk about some of the changes I see in the market. And these changes that are coming are going to force, and I won't use the word cause. We're going to use the word force MSPs to reinvent themselves. They're going to have to, because the landscape is now laterally changing with AI, with automation, with post-quantum cryptography, cybersecurity, all these various components coming. It's making it more and more difficult for an MSP to actually stay in their own area of expertise that they might have been in for the last, 1 to 10 years.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll touch on that. And I guess just again, so I can get some of my bearings about me. So if it's TTI or TTGI, if that's the ultimate brand, but ultimately is the plan to be technology service provider is such a generic term. And, so I always think in terms of, like, we're talking here now, but at some point you're going to be talking to a customer. And they're going to be like, well, what do you do? And if you say you're a technology service provider, that is about as vague as saying I'm in medical. Well, does that mean you're a dentist or you're, are you, you're a chiropractor or are you a med spa or like, what are you? Right. So, do you, I guess, help me understand do you see your customer as the VAR that is out there who is selling hardware as, maybe a little services, like you said, do you see yourself as the MSP who's kind of the flip side of a VAR where they're mostly services and sell the hardware to, just to kind of fulfill? Like, who is your customer, or are you going direct with it to the small mid? So tell me about that.
Well, I can tell you, there's a whole raft of videos out there about what we actually do. You're absolutely right. It is a very complicated solution that we bring to the market. But what we do, and I'll tell you how we do this in just a second. So, if you're in North America, everybody understands walking into Walmart. You walk into Walmart, are you buying groceries? You getting a haircut? You're going to go over there and buy whatever, right? You got options. That's kind of the way that we are in a lot of sense. We're like a big superstore for technology. So you're a small business and you come to one of our partners and you go, hey, partner, I've only been buying hardware from you for the last 3 to 5 years and you guys do a great job. What are we doing on cybersecurity or compliance? Now, the partner is immediately going to go, we got a solution for you, or we'll have to come back to you. The partners, the MSPs out there, what we're finding is they feel about 60% of the gap in technology. If we look at that number across all the partners that we deal with, it's about a 60% coverage rate. We want to make that partner be able to step in front of the end customer and say, right, what type of problem do you have? Now, the reputation that Clarity and TTGI, Turnium Technology Group Incorporated, so we will become TTGI, a global entity that sells our product to partners. We sell our products to partners and we handhold them to the end customer. So we make it simple for the partner to stand before the end customer and say, you know what, compliance, we have a solution. Dark web, we have a solution. If you're concerned about data leakage, outbound, inbound, you're concerned about firewall, you're concerned about managed Wi-Fi, you want to have MDM, mobile device management, on that fleet of Samsung or Apple devices, we have the solution as a single offer. So you're absolutely right. We want to go to a VAR. We want to go to an internet service provider. The internet service providers of the world are so important to us because they're selling connectivity. They're selling internet access. And they've got a great relationship. In some cases, they own the fiber going into the building. They've got a great relationship with the customer, but that's the only product that they have to sell. So immediately we go in and add these extra products into their kit bag.
So I don't, just again, because the people watching this are MSPs for the most part. And what I think what you can get from today's interview is there's a different model for selling managed services. Most of the MSPs watching this, they're selling directly to an SMB client, small, mid-sized business. Sometimes co-managed, mostly it's going to be fully outsourced IT support. So they go to the realtor, they go to the dentist, they go to their CPA, that's got, 15 employees, 20 employees, 30, whatever. And they're doing a fully outsourced IT service. They're doing managed services. They're doing cybersecurity, in some cases doing compliance, or they have something, again, it depends on their target audience. I don't really see them as being your customer, although they could be. Because they're already saying, well, this is what we do, right? But I see what you're saying. If you go to an ISP, if you go to a VAR, if you go to I don't know if there's even office equipment people out there still selling printers and copiers or whatever it is, right? So they're selling some sort of technology related service to a customer, and they want to be able to monetize that customer more.
100%.
And so they're saying we could offer this. So that's, if I'm understanding you right, that is your model, is to go to the ISPs, the VARs, the phone system people, office equipment, or whoever, maybe even SaaS companies. I don't know if that would even, like a SaaS company that's selling a line of business application and they're selling the, and then, but they want to wrap this around it. So, all right. So
let me throw another one in there that'll really spin you out. You've got a business with lots and lots of customers. You have nothing to do with IT. You don't even employ anybody that has anything to do with IT. And immediately we stand up. Thank you for calling Robbins IT globally. Mm-hmm. You've got the relationship with the end customer. You don't employ one IT person. We deliver it as you, for you, manage it, support it to the end customer as if it is you. Now, that's the model that we have. And back to your point on MSPs, you're absolutely right. A lot of the MSPs that come to us, they're like, we already do a lot of that stuff. And that's great. That's great. Okay. Where we give you the leverage to the MSPs listening to this, we buy more Microsoft licenses than you do. We buy more telco voice minutes than you do. We buy more hardware than you do. We can sell to you and beat any price that you currently pay. Worldwide, we give you a knock, we give you a SOC, we give you a help desk 24/7, and we can connect you to any other partner in our ecosystem, and you will have global coverage overnight. Now, that's a story for the MSPs that they don't have today.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, so when you are reselling this service, I mean, right now, I'm an ideal managed services client. I think we spend $35,000 a month on managed services, cybersecurity, the whole thing, right? So we are what a lot of people would be consider like a sweet spot client. And I've grown over the years. I've had an MSP from the time I was a solo operator up to where we are today. So, if an MSP or an ISP or whoever it is that's reselling this, so if I were to say, okay, technology marketing toolkit, we want to provide IT services and support to all of our customers. The question is, who goes in and sells it? Because there has to be a sales process, a quoting process, number one. There's got to be account management. So once the deal is sold, now, Charlie over here is going to be your account manager, and he's going to help onboard you, and he's going to be, the one you meet with to do QBRs. And there's, with compliance, you get even into more projects. And so there's like a account manager, project manager. Are you providing all that, or am I having to do that work?
It depends on the way you engage us. So we can be the boots on the ground. When you become an MSP partner, so you become a partner of ours, you become a strategic partner. When you become that partner, and let's say you're based in Tennessee, and all of a sudden you say, we've just signed a customer in California, and we don't have staff in California. We don't want to be flying them back and forth because these projects are going to take us 2 months. That partner in California that's one of our partners has got a partner-to-partner agreement with us, and you become a partner, you have a partner-to-partner agreement with us. And that agreement is everything flows through us, and that way we make sure that there's no infighting between partners. We make sure that whatever rate you're billing the customer and you've agreed to, that partner's going to honor that, and they're going to work within a boundary of margin. So again, if you said to us, I want to be a partner, I want to roll out Robbins MSP worldwide, I don't want to employ anybody, we'll answer the phone as you, we'll call the customer as you, we'll deliver the product as you. We take a bigger clip because we're doing more work, but you're actually able to create this global presence through our partner network that would take you years and millions of dollars to develop.
So again, who sells it though? If I'm a, let's say I'm a VAR. Okay. Now a VAR, they are used to, they have sales reps, they have account managers, they have project managers, So in that case, I could see somebody like that would be more likely able to just say, hey, we're going to sell the deal, you're going to fulfill, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you are talking about, let's say, somebody who does internet services or they just sell phone systems, they might have sales reps, but that sales rep who's selling a phone system, they don't have they're not, this is managed services is a really different model. So again, if I have to, do you bring your salespeople come out and meet with the customer? Is like all of that is like, I can opt for that and say, I want your salespeople here. You're going to close the deal. And I just want to pick up the check. So you can do that all the way that to like some other, you back off that and say, okay, if you're selling it and you're servicing this and we're doing that, there's a different model. Correct?
Yeah. So we started 2 years ago. And one of the biggest things that I found is lots of partners, we said, here it is. And it was a bit clunky. And it was a bit like, how do we get going? So I said right there is we've got to take the skills and expertise, all of the marketing literature, everything that we've got in-house for us. And we're going to now use AI. We overlay the partner's logo and everything on that. We also jump on the Teams call as the partner. We sit there on the call doing these calls. We've got an AI script running on the side that's basically saying, ask this, ask this, ask this. That question, if it's a yes, don't ask this, ask that. Every single time we hang up that call, that's getting re-rated. That script is getting tested. And it's also saying the customer said they had 15 staff. They also want a quote for 15 Windows machines. We're taking that data and building the quote for you. So we'll not only be on the call helping you sell, or we'll do it. The more we do, the larger our take is, but it's a win-win situation because we're generating the revenue ultimately for the partner. Now, we can sell it as you, quote it as you, deliver it as you, support it as you, and put your brand on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So talk about, and again, because I want this to be, this is not a commercial for you. And I think it's coming across a little bit like that. I don't want it to be, but I think, so I'm saying this to the listener who's watching this, because what I would suggest you do is look at this in two ways. Yeah, maybe you want to be a partner and that's fine. But another way to look at this is I'm trying to extrapolate the business model. So, because an MSP out there might say, well, for example, I do right now have a couple of MSPs that are doing what you're doing. Maybe not to the scale, but they are going to a SaaS application. They're going to a company that provides, I don't want to tell, because like there's a couple of people who do this and they don't want anyone else to know they do it. So I'll make up a scenario, right? But it gets the point, right? So let's say that I am a manufacturer of dental equipment and software. So I sell, they're kind of like a dental VAR, like, you know what I mean? Like, so they'll sell you the x-ray machine and they're going to sell you the software that runs that x-ray machine, and they go out and they install it, but they're not doing managed services. Now, of course, that x-ray machine is sitting on a Windows device or whatever, or there's some sort of software, there's some sort of device. The internet's slow, Wi-Fi is not working, the device isn't secure, it's old, whatever it is, right? That dentist is now calling the software company saying, hey, my machine's not working or whatever. And they're either trying to troubleshoot it, or they're saying, hey, it's the PC itself it's running on, or that's your Wi-Fi issue, or it's whatever, right? And so I have a couple of MSPs that are going to those kinds of providers and saying, let us be your managed services provider. We're going to close that gap, right? So, I bring that up so that the listener, the person watching this, I'm encouraging them to think about this as a model of a different type of customer that you could sell managed services to. So in that model, like, so you go to an MSP, like, and I come to you and I say, whether I'm an MSP or whatever, and I say, tell me what money I can make. All right. Because you're going to handle it all. And I'm just going to get a check. That's kind of like the idea, right?
Yeah.
What percentage can I expect to get as can you give me a range? Can you give me however you can unpack that?
20 to 40% margin that you will make on the blended product stack that you're going to buy from us at a minimum.
So for every dollar the customer pays, I'm going to keep 40 cents and you get the 60 cents free. And is that for selling it? That's I don't have to lift a finger to do that.
You don't have to lift a finger to do it. And, back to your point about it being a commercial, I don't want it to be a commercial either. I want this to be a learning exercise. Mm-hmm. There are going to be, I talk to hundreds of MSPs. I present at events, etc. And this is something that I go through constantly. MSPs, we meet them at all different levels of maturity. Some MSPs are, they've got more of a cyber flavor. They've got more of a VAR. We've grown from a VAR into this. What we're here to do is to fill the gaps. Mm-hmm. You don't have to take it.
No doubt.
Yeah. You don't have to take it all from us. If you want one product, you take one product. What we're here to do is to help the MSP grow their revenue. And I'll give you a great case study. In 2018, I had a coffee with a guy that owned a PBX. All he ever did was sell PBXs, Alcatel PBXs. He knew them like the back of his hand. We had a coffee. I said to him, let's call him Fred. Fred, what are you waiting on? It's not going to cost you anything to sign up. There's no commitment. These are the products. He goes, well, I'm going to try selling mobile. He grew from that cup of coffee in 1 year to spending over $10,000 a month with us on mobile SIMs. That's what he paid us. And he turned around and went to all of his customers and sold them, mobile SIMs. And then he started getting into leasing them mobile handsets. So that was a cup of coffee that turned into $10,000, $10,000 a month coming my way. I don't know what he billed the end customer. He got so successful within 2 years, he moved on and got a direct relationship and started buying mobile services directly from a different provider, but he still buys other products from us today. So,
okay. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So 40-60, so I get 40%. And, for a lot of people listening, that seems pretty incredible because most MSPs, their average profit margin, the EBITDA is 8%, and they're doing all the work, right? And so if I'm just becoming a sales engine, like it would be, for me, it would be like, all right, I'm going to be just basically a reseller. The question I think about is how competitive are you on pricing? Because maybe that's because you're at the top cost. Like, how does your services compare to the average MSPs out there that are delivering these services? High end, low end, middle?
No, we don't touch enterprise at all. No enterprise. We sit smack in the mid space from 25 seats to 250. That's our sweet spot. And that's where the MSPs live. I mean, most MSPs will dip down into the S, some will get down into the micro. Now, the thing that I can do with our model is because it's so well polished, we can give you a price point that you can service micro or you can service enterprise, depending on what relationship you have. Now, when I started the business model and I said I flipped a light switch on, the light switch was kind of like this. Wouldn't it be nice if we could create the same technology offering in America as we have in Australia, as we might have in the UK? And that's the whole basis around what we actually provide. And the strength of our model is the fact that we leverage the MSP's relationship with the end customer. We don't want to have the end customer as our direct company if we can avoid it. Now, if we
But what I'm
have
saying,
that
so
relation,
I understand,
we
but
will.
what I'm saying is, sure, if you're not enterprise, you're not but like that 25 to 250, are you selling it as an all-in seat? And if you have that, do you have an average all-in seat price? Because again, if I come to me and you're like, okay, Robin, yeah, you get 40%, but you better be selling at 300 all in a seat for our services. And I know it depends on what you get, right? But
Yeah.
then I would be like, well, yeah, no kidding. I'd get 40% because there's 300 on all in seat is nearly double what the average MSP is selling right now. So that's why I'm trying to get a gauge. So what is where does your pricing, like, do you set the price? I guess you have to set some kind of like minimum, and then the reseller, whoever it is, can, again, they would have to end up selling it, right? Because like I'm trying, if I'm selling it, you could say, well, Robin, it's going to be $100 a unit. You mark it up as much as you want, go sell as much as you want. But if I'm coming to you and saying, hey, I don't want to do the selling because I don't know how to sell. I'm selling shoes over here. I don't know how to sell IT. Then you're coming in, I'm sure, with some suggestions, but are your services, how competitive? Are you on the higher end of fees? Are you on the lower? Are you in the middle? Where are you?
Well, we believe we are well priced, and we've been doing this since 2017, and we test the market constantly, right? So we've got an 8-year-old model here that we think is good, but we're always open to getting better, right? Because we want volume and scale and growth. That is what we're all about. If you take us on an all-in price, and I'll give you a price in Australia because that's where the most maturity is in our model, $250 a month gets you a new PC, 2 screens, a keyboard, a mouse, a full cybersecurity ring around your business, 24/7 SOC, 24/7 knock, 24/7 help desk, a mobile SIM, all voice calls, pretty much all you can eat per user.
Is the internet services provided in there, or the
internet service provider the internet cost of the service is the only thing we add on top of that. But all your licensing, all of the things that it takes to make that ecosystem work for that user is included.
And then what about backups? That would probably, because it's going to be based on volume, right? So the service, but then the volume of the backup would be an additional fee, correct?
Yeah, the backup and restoration is included. The actual storage. So if you got 15 terabytes of data or some large number like that, we're going to put in a price per gigabyte, terabyte. Again, when we look at the model, if an MSP was to go up against one of our MSPs, they weren't an MSP of ours, they would probably lose if they were talking about selling equipment. Because we're going to go in there and say to the MSP, give the equipment away.
Okay, that's really interesting.
We've got an all-inclusive model, and the key thing for the MSP listener to think about is we can survive market compression. We can take a direct hit from another provider saying, "Oh, we can give you cost." Well, we can give you cost as well. I'll tell my sales manager, get the deal. If you got to sell it below cost, it doesn't matter, because what we're looking at is we want to own the ecosystem with the partner. We want the partner to own the end customer relationship, because in the last 5 years, we know that the growth rate horizontally, if you as an MSP land in a customer, you're going to grow at least by 40% laterally inside that customer's environment by selling more products and services that you probably don't sell today.
Right. So it's just about getting in the door with this, and then expanding that lifetime value of a customer. Interesting. So so you mentioned, I have a couple more questions I just want to make sure we touch on, because you said you feel that the MSP model, the landscape's changing. Talk about that. How do you think MSPs today, if we look forward 5-10 years, what's going to disrupt them, and how will they have to operate differently in order to compete?
Well, you look at some of the most recent changes, you look at what happened. I mean, Microsoft has just announced that they're going to set a minimum $1 million spend on a CSP. A Microsoft CSP is going to have to spend $1 million a year. Otherwise, Microsoft's not going to support them as a partner. Well, how many MSPs out there do you think spend $1 million a year with Microsoft? That's going to be a hard hurdle for them to jump. Citrix just recently did this about 18 months ago. They said no more partners, no more customers unless you buy at least 250 seats from us. Well, I just said a minute ago that most of the customers sit between 25 and 250. So Citrix have now kind of put themselves in a different area. I love Citrix and Microsoft, so I'm not bagging either one of them. I'm just quoting facts.
Sure.
So the MSPs are going to have to deal with these new ways of adopting manufacturer, imposed changes.
Mm-hmm.
But forget that for a second. All of a sudden, you got quantum computing coming. You go out there and watch any share price out there, anybody that's in PQC right now, they're either growing at an incremental rate or they're growing at exponential rate, okay? That is coming. In 3 to 5 years from now, it's going to change the world like it's never seen before. Well, you've already seen in the last 2 years what AI has done. I can't keep track of the AI models and stuff that comes out. I mean, I find a new AI thing at least 2 a week. Learning AI and putting AI inside of an MSP's business. If you become a customer in our world, we want to be able to say quickly, hey, how many of these devices do we have in the field? Bang, there's your answer. Please apply a patch. Bang. Tonight at bang. Done.
Mm-hmm.
We can help an MSP eliminate their level ones because we baked AI into our business model. We're not trying to figure out how to support AI when it comes along. How does that help you as the MSP with the end customer? You, MSP, are giving that customer premium level support. So when you talk about, okay, Fred down the road's charging $200 a month, and I'm going to now be charging $300 a month or whatever the case may be, you got a way of substantiating the value proposition that you give to the end customer. It is all about land, grab, hang on, and expand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I do think AI is, the impact it's having and the changes that are happening are weekly. It's not, it's breathtaking at the pace at which it's evolving and being utilized. I mean, I think people are just, it's almost like trying to build a business model on it. It's like already out of date a month later because something else has happened. So I hear what you're saying there. But so if MSPs want to compete, what you're saying is they're going to have to have a platform, basically an AI driven platform that is fully integrated with a full service, eliminating a lot of the people. So, the first step for everybody was they were outsourcing to, the Philippines or India or whatever. And now what you're saying is all of those level 1 tech jobs are going to go away because AI is going to do this. And these platforms are going to, basically eliminate the need for the engineer logging in and logging out of each individual customer and applying the patches and so I think what I'm hearing is if I'm an MSP, I got to really think about a technology platform, not just a service of all these different pieces put together. I know that's Kaseya's vision. That was Fred Vicola's vision, to do that. I do believe ConnectWise is trying to apply the same thing. I think Ninja, a lot of the vendors in our space, they're seeing this they see this coming too, right? So So again, I guess the question would be, you've got it today, but if ConnectWise or Kaseya or Ninja or any of these, companies, if they could do this as well, don't you think? Or is that, or you, so tell me what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I definitely want to go back. There's 3 things that I've just thought about here. So the MSP, to keep up, they got to reinvent themselves. So they need to raise capital. They need to find capital. They got to hire people. They're going to have to go out and build this platform. Okay. Now, we are Kaseya's largest customer
Oh, okay.
worldwide.
Okay.
Worldwide, there's no other partner they have that has got a worldwide platform like what we provide. Now, I've met Fred in person. I know all the C-levels inside of Kaseya. So we got a really good relationship with them. But they only bring products to us. It's up to us to glue the products together and turn it into a platform.
And hardware and all the other the support and everything else, right?
How do you take that iPhone 15, 16, 17, who knows what, with that local Bell SIM, and then overlay the MDM on top of that using the right product, then give you an AI engine to be able to manage that fleet worldwide?
Yeah, no, I don't. I know they're not there today. Yeah, no, I know that's what I said. I know you're like way ahead of the bell curve on that. Like that's what. But what I'm just saying, like for the MSPs watching this, and because they're sitting there, they've got to be thinking about this, because the software providers, their platforms are getting better. Period. Right now, they're not going that next step, but I could see them maybe at some point saying to develop what you've developed. It probably will take them a lot longer, because you purpose built this to do what it's doing. They bought it to be a tool for the MSP to use. So so I was just curious your thoughts on that. But I think we both agree that the MSP service delivery model is going to change. It's like we provide digital marketing services to MSPs. All right. And I would be a fool if I'm sitting here going, the way we are delivering websites, graphic design, digital marketing, ads, in a year to 3 years, it is going to be radically different than it is today because of AI. Like pay per click. I was on a call the other day with a MSP, and it was interesting. He said, "Robin, you're going to love this." He's like, "I got my first customer from ChatGPT." He said it was a law firm, and this law firm went into ChatGPT and said, "Here are our core values. Here are our problems. Here's what we are looking for in an IT company. Which would you recommend?" And it recommended his company. So they called him, and he said it was a good deal, right? And he said, and he was using it because it was the first time that had happened, but it was also, he was reaffirming what I say is you got to be very clear on your brand, who your customer is, what your core values are, what your service, your brand promise is, because that's how it matched it up, right? So I think you and I are in agreement that if I'm an MSP, I have to be sitting here going, my platform for service delivery has got to be changed, because in 3 years from now, I won't be able to sustain the EBITDA margin that I need. I will not, or my pricing is going to have to be exponentially higher, because I would think as you get better and better, I'm talking about your platform, TTGI gets better and better, you're going to be able to lower those costs and give better margins, which means that you can deliver more value at a lower cost, or just lower the cost, drop the price. And that's going to be highly disruptive, because I see. I mean, that's it. I see why you're excited about this. It's a very.
I am, and now I'm the largest shareholder inside of TTGI inside the management side of this. I'm extremely excited about it. And it's not, I do what I do because I've been in technology for 40 years. I'm an old mainframe guy back in the 80s before the internet was a thing. I could tell you stories that would blow your mind. The thing that I have found over the years is this: the MSP's secret sauce is their relationship with the customer. If the customer loves that tech going out there on the site, they're going to have a long and rich relationship with the end customer. What the MSPs need to hear out of my mouth, loud and clear, is the landscape is changing. Stop trying to do it all yourself. There's already a platform out there that will do it with you, for you, and it's got AI baked in. The things that we can show our partners, they're going like jaw dropping. You mean we don't have to do all of this? No, you don't have to do all that. We'll do that for you, with you, and we'll share the revenue along the way. And we're going to make it so you're going to make a lot more money than what you're making today.
Yeah. Is there anybody, and maybe you don't want to answer this question, because is there anybody competing with you today? Because I don't know of anybody who's doing exactly what you're doing. I mean, surely there's going to be people who are going to see what you're doing and go, "Oh, we're going to try and compete with you." I mean, are there any competitors on the horizon for you?
We've not found one yet. There's some that are similar, but when you look at our model and how we go to the market through a distribution channel and how we enable the distribution channel to increase that sale to the end customer, no. There's a lot of MSPs out there that say we could service all of those customers in all those locations. They don't have a partner-to-partner network, and they don't sell through a partner distribution channel like us. Are we a target? I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
When I started back, over 20 years ago, there was like one guy who was kind of doing marketing for VARs, because MSP was just kind of getting a foothold. And today, oh my God, you can't throw a rock without hitting one of them, because like everybody was like, oh, I don't like I don't know. They just didn't like the market or something. I don't know. It was just, maybe it was an emerging industry and it hadn't really gotten any attention yet, and just the way it was. But yeah, like any good ideas, once people, first they mock you, right? And then they try to imitate you, and then they try to destroy you, right? Like, so It's funny. Okay, well, good. Hey, one other thing, because I want to be very cognizant. It's probably getting close to midnight, and you're extremely busy, and I'm taking a lot of your time here, so I appreciate that. I'm just curious. I want you to touch on the AI component. So you're on these Zoom meetings, you're on a Teams meeting, and you have created an AI engine that will sit on that meeting and direct the questions. If then logic, if they say this, say that, make sure you ask this, and it will take notes and it'll help put together the proposal. Is that what because you kind of touched on that. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
that
kind of
in
it.
and of itself is dude, you and I got to do a partnership, because I want that. I just want that piece. Can I just have that piece there?
Well, this is in lab, and we're using this internally. We have a case study that is so remarkable. I went out and hired 5 people. This is a true story. Hired 5 people in Pakistan, and the qualification, the not to exceed qualification was this: the people you hire cannot know more about technology other than how to turn on a smartphone. Within 5 days, those people were winning cybersecurity deals for partners. We ran that for 2 months, and we thought maybe we just lucked out in the 5 people that we hired. So we shut it down and we moved it to India. We got the same results. We shut it down. Now we're about to move it to another country. Now, we're also working on voice bots. The voice bots will actually make those outbound calls. We're also working on empathy. So while I'm sitting here looking at you, Robin, our module's running in the background. It will work your facial recognition out on what I say, on what I talk about, and it will go, there's something that we need to talk about more about cybersecurity because it piqued your interest. We have a win rate since the 9th day of September, 2019. I know that day well. If we put a dollar quote in our bucket as quoted, we win 54.6% of the time.
Wow, that's good.
Now, I don't know how many. Yeah.
Just to give you, give you an idea. We kind of go off of a first time, like initial meeting, not off a proposal, but off an initial meeting where we know at least there's an opportunity. Now, not all opportunities go to proposal. And so it depends on where you're taking the close rate from, because from proposal will look better than from your initial meeting, right? Because, some will fall off before it gets to proposal. Just you disqualify them. But yeah, right now it's about 35% for MSPs when they meet with a prospective customer. And I'm talking about like a discovery meeting, like a meaningful conversation about a project, a need, or whatever. From that meeting, then they go to auditing and discuss, more of the, putting together the proposal, the security scan, or whatever they're doing. And then they go back with a proposal. But off that first meeting is about 35%. So, that's good. So I just want to make sure the audience watching this understands, because they might be sitting there going, well, I close 80%. Yeah, that's because you're only closing referrals. Like I always say, when you go out there in the real world where they wake up in the morning, eat their young, and then turn on you, and you try to get a check out of that guy, it's going to be a little different than a warm, fuzzy, pre-sold referral. So,
we're working on this, and it's in our technology wheel. So when you see all the information, it's at 10 o'clock on our technology wheel. Okay, it's very cool. It's AI. We now know from the very moment we take your business card, we can predict the velocity that we're moving that conversation through to a quote. We know every single slice of the data all the way through. We use AI in that system. We can go, show me the top 15 leads where we're at 22%. Bang, there they are. Every conversation, inbound and outbound, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's telephone, SMS, email, is all tracked, all measured. So we help the MSP sell our products.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, it really is. I know this is supposed to be a Titans interview and not a marketing consultation, and you didn't ask my opinion, but I think that is probably, so here's some unsolicited, unpaid for, probably unwanted advice, is that I think is the gem in this. It's what you have, I think is, I call it's a non-franchise franchise, right? But it's even better than that. It's like, in other words, I can have a business, like buying a franchise, but it's without having to, like, all the restrictions of a franchise, right? So, and I think MSPs my group would be going crazy over that component alone. So just something to kind of think about as you're doing this, because I could also see, again, if that part of the puzzle needs to be really told, because if you're going to an ISP or a VAR, I hear it all the time. They'll come to me, it's a VAR, and they're trying to sell managed services all the time. 100% of them come to me and say, we cannot get our salespeople to learn how to sell managed services. Because they're used to selling a box. They're used to selling a thing, a project, if anything, right? They just can't get them to sell managed services. So that, I think, is something that you want to highlight, so that you could get, a pretty mediocre salesperson and get them to be good, like really actually efficient and good. So.
Well, last point I would touch on just quickly. One thing that's part of our growth strategy, when I was brought in as CEO of this organization, like I said, I did it all on shares in exchange to be in the chair, because I've got 40 some odd years of experience. The growth strategy for us, we came together last year. We were $11 million Canadian company. My ambition is to get us to over $100 million in 3 years. And I know how we're going to get there. And part of that is we test everything. And part of this is we are going to acquire a VAR. And the reason we're going to acquire the VAR is so we can learn the lessons. We're going to learn the lessons by owning them and knowing what it takes to get a VAR to sell. Because there's so many ISPs and VARs out there that have got exponential opportunity to grow their business, we want to know how to approach that market through them.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. Well, Doug, if anybody wanted to learn more, like, about this model, where would they go?
The best place to start is to go to ttgi.io. Now, that's the head public company. And on there, it's got a link to Clarity. It's got a link to Turnium, so you can learn a little bit more about our SD-WAN offering. And you can also go see Turnium, Clarity, and learn more about the technology wheel. Ultimately, sales at clarity.com or sales at ttgi.io will all roads lead you to Rome. Just jump on our website and somebody will be there to meet you and greet you and take you on that journey.
And is it going to be a human or is it going to be a bot?
It'll probably be a bot to start with.
I would expect no less. So that's great. And Clarity is spelled Claratti. So I just want to make sure
correct.
people understand that's the in case they're wondering about that. But Doug, this has been great. I was told that this was going to be a pretty interesting interview because your model is so unique. And you did not disappoint. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see where you go and how you use this model. And, again, I feel like this interview may have come across a little bit like a commercial, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just, you're just talking about what you do. But I would suggest that the kind of the takeaways, if I were watching this as an MSP, takeaway number one is I think your model is like, this is what you're doing today. Maybe there's not a lot of competitors today, but there will be more and more platforms, services, companies, and either you're going to join one or you're going to have to create one in order to stay competitive because it's going to drop costs of delivering technology exponentially. So it's going to be very difficult to compete if you don't have a platform like what you're offering that is and everything's included, and you have multidisciplines within that platform, whether you need compliance or don't need a compliance, or how robust a cybersecurity solution you need or not, and hardware and software, like you're talking about, like a Microsoft software licenses. So I think MSPs need to have this on their radar and be thinking about this. And not just keep their head in the sand and hope that it doesn't happen, because it's happening. It's going to happen more. So I think that would be one huge takeaway, just looking at this model. I think the second thing to think about too would be most MSPs, just when they start, they just think, well, I'm going to service small business customers, right? I'm just going to go direct to customer. You've done a different approach where you're providing this business in a box, I'm going to call it. I don't mean to, forgive me, I don't mean to diminish what you're saying, but you're providing a business in a box. You're saying, okay, here's a way that you can add on to the revenue and so forth. Like I have a friend who she has a supplement company, and it's all about weight loss and health management. But she goes into gyms and she says, I'm going to give you a business model that you can sell supplements and you can sell weight loss coaching and you can sell weight loss programs that you're not doing now. And it's totally turnkey. You just set up a kiosk, you put up these little banners there, and here's how, and she goes in and trains the team. And it's a big revenue stream for them to monetize their existing customers, where they, when they they don't want to build it on their own. They don't want to start a supplement company. They don't want to, they don't want to come up with the programs and the training and all the things. So it's an easy way. Hey, I got a gym. I can just add this on and I could be adding hundreds of thousands of dollars in my business without having to hire a bunch of people, do a bunch of marketing, figure out all that, the management that comes with it. So for an MSP watching this, I think it's a different way of looking at who your customer might be today, right? That's very, very interesting. And then I really do think they should give you a call just to see what it is, just to be aware of the options that are out there, right? Because as a business owner, you want to be aware of options. You don't want to have it blindsided, where all of a sudden now someone like one of your MSPs or somebody in their market shows up that has this platform and has this ability, and now they're trying to scramble to compete. So you always want to kind of keep aware of what is out there. I appreciate this. Maybe I can convince you to come over to the States, or if you're in the States and when you're, in Nashville, and you could show that AI sales bot to my team, my audience, they would drop dead over that. That would be like, they would pass out if that thing would work. They'd line up. So,
our partner. So I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee, by the way.
Were you? Oh my God. That's
born.
Great.
Yeah. I was born in Knoxville. I've lived in Perth, Western Australia for 24 years and travel all over the world. So, look, Robin, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here as well. I apologize if I come across as an infomercial. I love what I do. Right? Yeah. The one thing I would tell your MSP listener is this: Don't think that we're going to step on your toes. We're your friend, not your adversary. We are here to help you enrich the relationship with the end customer, and we will help you do that through the products that we sell to you and help you make that that additional revenue and that relationship just continue to grow and flourish.
I love it. All right, Doug, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time. And we will post links below the video here so people who want to go check you out or see, more about your company, they can find that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.